Welcome to Michigan in Focus. I'm Bruce Walker, Great Lakes Regional Editor for the Center Square. Joining me today is the Center Square's Managing Editor, Tom Gantert. Tom, let's get started right away and talk a little bit about a story. Well, we're all feeling it right now. Michigan's ice storm, which is actually a Midwest ice storm, but
a couple things. It's hit me particularly hard because I live in the southern part of the state where it's at. I live in Jackson, and my son lives in Spring Arbor, and he is without power, which means my grandson was without power, which is really tough for that generation because everything they do, they're plugged in. I mean, while they're playing their Xbox, they'll be doing stuff on their cell phone. So when you take that stuff away from them, when you take that stuff away from me, I love my power. I'm useless without energy. It was bad, and what we looked at was roughly, I think it's close to 800,000 people now that are without power, which is growing. Yeah, it's 816,000 people in Michigan don't have power, and it's this whole southern swath. You know, just the numbers, 271,956 people in Wayne County do not have power. That's where Detroit is, of course. And if you go Oakland County, 135,000. But Hillsdale, 17,000 of the 21,000 people in that community, in that county, do not have power. It's 80% of the people. And then what follows is all we're working on it. You can expect your power back by Saturday.
Why is that? Why do we, obviously there's going to be inclement weather that's going to cause power outages, but why does it seem to be so prevalent in this part of the country?
I don't have an answer to that.
I mean, is it a basic infrastructure issue that can be addressed, or is it just something that we all have to suck it up buttercup and deal with as it occurs?
I don't know. I do know that my son lives out in the county and the country, out in Spring Arbor, and he has his power go out a lot more than I do in the city of Jackson. We have not had I was yesterday at about midnight and my lights flickered for about a split second. And I was like, and then the power didn't go away. That's all we really had. But he won't get his power back until, I think last time this happened was just last year. He was without power for 4 days.
I live in the Flint area, and we got hammered with what is politely called a winter mix of snow, sleet, ice, and it was pretty nasty, but I count my blessings that we didn't lose any energy. Whereas an acquaintance of mine just spent 3 weeks down in Austin, Texas, and the day he got there with his wife, they were staying at an Airbnb. Sure enough, ice storm. Austin, Texas. Who could have guessed that? And I didn't have the over-under on that one, and I would have lost. But it took them 8 days to get their energy back. And I asked him why he thought that was the case. And essentially he said it's because they don't trim trees down there. And that's one of their little Austin peccadillos, is that if you trim a tree so that when a branch falls on it, so that branches won't fall down, you're hurting the tree, and they don't look forward enough to see that this type of basic maintenance needs to occur.
The good news here is where I live in Jackson, we are going to have a 5-hour stretch, and I'm like 2.5 hours into it right now, where the temperatures are 40 and above. I looked at all the trees, and there's no more ice on. So hopefully the worst is done.
Well, best of luck to all of those in the central to southern part of Michigan, eastern and western, that they get their electricity back on soon, especially those who rely on the electricity to heat their homes. Listeners can keep up with this story and more at thecentersquare.com for Tom Gantert's coverage of all things nationwide and Michigan specific. My name is Bruce Walker. I am the Great Lakes Regional Editor for the Center Square. Please subscribe, and thanks for listening.